interrupt your daily scheduled broadcast on Track Stars Radio to let you know that this is one of the loudest holy hip-hop radio shows on the face of the planet. And yeah, that's right, man. This is Preach That Fire from Hollafest Radio. You're in the field with the Track Stars. NYC, stand up.
Yeah, all right, back in the field with the Track Stars. Ryan Righteous, Sean Jenner, DJ Jeremiah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is what we're doing today. Do you want to explain it?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. My question is, if you can get inspired by a song that's not considered a Christian song, or by a mainstream artist or a secular artist, because I was listening to a song last week and it was inspiring, but I almost felt, for some reason I felt a little guilty. But I don't know, that's my question. I don't know if that's considered wrong or right, or like what are the parameters around that. And I guess on the flip side, if there's an artist that's Christian and they stumble, or publicly stuff happens and you start listening to their music after that, can you still be inspired by that, or could you almost get into a state where you can't even hear from them because you're distracted by what they've done and their indiscretions?
What do you define inspired though? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I felt guilty about being inspired, because I used to listen to it like every day for a while. But T.I. and Rihanna's "Live Your Life,"
yeah,
that was kind of inspiring to me. I used to listen to it and be like, yeah, more people need to hear this every day. So yeah.
Paperboy.
Hey,
Paper Trail?
It is what it is.
No,
oh. Because mine is Drake's song "Too Much," and just like, I don't want to say it was spiritually inspiring, but it may have been. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it's like it made me want to do more for God. But at the same time, I said, God, am I wrong for feeling this way? Because it's like I didn't feel like I wanted to like go out and do anything wrong, but it made me feel inspired to do something good for the kingdom.
Can someone explain the premise of that song?
Well, it's basically.
Did you give me the mic?
Oh, you go
Yeah,
ahead.
somebody. I knew you were going to say something.
I actually, the song is pretty. I think it's dope. I like the production on it. But I would say the song in itself, he does express like family issues in the song. He does talk about like how his situation was, like just being a better person, or I can't really. I would have to read the lyrics again, but I know the second verse he does go at his family like, y'all can continue to dream. Just because your situation has you down doesn't mean that you got to stop being in that situation.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. Like, you don't have to stop it's like speaking against being discouraged about your particular situation and wanting to do more. Like, you can still do things. Don't think it's too late. And that's the chorus. It's basically saying, don't think about it. Don't worry about that stuff. You can still do what you want to do. But
on the other hand, he has another song that is horrible. But anyway, go ahead.
What?
No, let's see. He has a song called "All Me" that's horrible. I'm sorry, but yeah, go ahead. But anyway, I think, can you be inspired?
Why do you keep interrupting her?
I'm sorry.
Well, see, that's exactly what I'm saying, because I feel like we don't know like people's personal lifestyles or what they do or their relationship with God. So I feel like we automatically think because someone says, "Oh, I put out a Christian album," that you can automatically be inspired by it because it's supposed to be holy music. But I don't think that that's true.
I think you can be,
because if their lifestyle is jacked up, it might as well be a song.
But I think the thing is, like, you can be inspired by certain things of art, but at the same time, like, regardless if it's a Christian or not Christian, I think inspiration could come and hit you. I mean, just like somebody playing that guitar. Like, for example, you can't see it because there's a guitar in the corner, but Paul McCartney could play that guitar, or somebody from Coldplay could play that guitar, and you can be like, "Oh, that song, I can get inspiration and idea from that song." Or Chris Tomlin could play that guitar, and you can still get inspired. So I think art in itself, regardless if it's worship or if it's whatever type of song, I think inspiration could come from it. Because I've had times when I'm listening to somebody, or if I heard somebody say a line, I'm like, "Yo, that would be hot if you flip this and make it this." You know what I mean? So I think God can inspire you at any time. I think what you're saying, even from a Christian artist, if a Christian artist fell or whatever. I mean, it's some songs that just because somebody fell doesn't mean that what they're saying is not the truth. You see what I'm saying? Like if I'm telling you, if I fell in that situation, but I'm still telling you biblically truth, that's the truth still. That doesn't matter what happened to me. You know what I'm saying? To me, and personally, that's what I think.
I feel like the word of God can inspire you, but I mean, there's still a real life out there. You know what I'm saying? Even outside the four walls of a church. So I think you could be inspired by many things, even though it may not be Christian or a believer. I think you could even be inspired by a non-believer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't take someone who has a title. It doesn't take someone who knows the ins and outs of God to be inspired. I mean, sometimes in some cases you'll find people to be even inspired from a negative situation. It could, it could flip you. It could flip into another spinoff of something positive. So, I mean, of course, for song-wise and song purposes, like there are songs. I mean, I remember there's R&B songs. They're love songs. There's songs about the ghetto or the hood, and if you can connect with that, because certain things connect with people differently. So I feel like I think you could easily be inspired by anything and not feel condemned or feel some type of way negatively that way. Is this right that this song inspired me, or am I only supposed to just listen to gospel?
Well, here's the danger, I guess, and this is what somebody would say to counter this, is how can you trust what they're saying, and how can you trust the inspiration? Because if it's not coming from a biblical place, some of it may be good, but some of it may not be good. There may be something hidden in it that could be dangerous for you. And it may sound like, oh yeah, don't worry, but Drake may not be meaning it that way. He may be meaning it like a prideful way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Pride may sneak into your heart because you thought it was cool. Is there any danger involved in getting inspiration like that?
I think the danger becomes when you associate the actual or attach the actual inspiration to the person. God can use anyone or anything to inspire someone, but it doesn't necessarily mean that person is in right standing with him. And so you have to constantly be cognizant of that, and because of that, have a proper filter in your heart so that the wrong motives don't kind of filter through, if that makes sense. But just realizing, because I'm inspired by Drake doesn't mean that Drake is a hardcore believer. He may or may not be, but you can't equate one with the other.
And I think the same thing can be said by an artist that says they're a Christian artist, because
Absolutely.
they deal with pride too. So I feel like we can't just automatically be receptive just because somebody says that, this is my Christian album, because a lot of those people are filled with pride too.
All right, so I'm putting this in the context of like I'm handing a CD over to my kid, right? Can I trust this song with my kid? Would you trust it with your kid?
I ain't said all that.
Well, that's the difference. So if you wouldn't trust it with your kid, are you sure that you should trust it with your own heart? Because, your heart is deceitful. So it may come in like, this is great, you know what I'm saying? But then he says something on the third verse that sneaks in there that's dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, like, sometimes do we think we're bigger and badder than we really are? And we let stuff in that we think we can handle, but it's really dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just wonder that. And yeah, it is true that Christian artists, but there's a responsibility on them. Just like a pastor, there's a responsibility on the pastor. If he sneaks negative stuff into his message, God's going to handle him specifically.
Yeah.
But Drake has never said, I am going to be speaking great things into your heart. Like he never claimed that responsibility. So should you trust it?
And I'm not even saying go after it. I mean, I think that's like to go after his music for inspiration, but I'm saying it is possible because I think because I think it can be possible to be inspired by someone like Drake, but to go searching and expecting that is a completely different thing, because that implies that is what is feeding you. You know what I mean?
Does it also make a difference, the popularity of the artist? Meaning, if an artist is more popular, do people listen to their music and get more inspired than if it was somebody who spit the same bars, same verse that Drake's?
I think some of this is coming. I remember my dad telling me. I remember listening to songs in my room, and I'll be like, "Yo, this song is good." I mean, he's not saying anything wrong. But my dad was like, "Well, when you pay for that, you're not just listening to this song. You're supporting his ministry, whatever it is, right? Whether it's for himself or for God. And is supporting Drake, even if he may sneak something positive on one song, is supporting Drake in any form and fashion, advancing his cause versus advancing God's cause. Yeah. And I mean, this may be way, way too serious, but this is what the show's for. So I wonder if we may be missing something because we think it's harmless, but I mean, like Jeremiah said, if you let that song in, it's like, oh, Drake is cool, or your kid thinks Drake is cool, and then he listens to the rest of it, and it's like, oh, snap. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just wonder how dangerous that is.
But I think that's why I think there's a difference between inspiration, like inspiring people, listen to something to inspire, but then like, okay, prime example, J. Cole has a song called Crooked Smile. Very inspirational song, very good positive song. But on the flip side, one song that is kind of dope, but it's a negative song, is called Forbidden Fruit. You know what I mean? The hook is just horrible. It's a dope song because it samples a classic hip hop record, but then at the same time, when you listen to the lyrical content, it's horrible. Same thing with a Kendrick Lamar, like Kendrick Lamar's Swimming Pools. Talks about alcoholism and why alcohol affects you, but then on the flip side, he got another song, Backstreet Freestyle, where it's crazy. Yeah. So it's like a balance, and I think what I was about to say is, it's hard that you can't really, that's why you can't really feed yourself that all the time.
I just want to make sure we represent both, because there's people that are listening like, oh, this is completely wrong. Y'all are evil. Like, because they'll say you can't let any of that stuff in at all.
I used to be that way.
Oh yeah, I know.
I used to be that way. But I think what happened was I remember putting my convictions on like majority of people in this room. And what ended up happening was like, what I mean convictions, meaning like my personal convictions. If God is telling me don't do this, and I remember, well, it was, I guess maybe more her. It used to be on her like, yo.